today. You know, as a business partner for Infor, we're just delighted at the velocity that we're seeing in the form of these updates and new functionality, an incredibly aggressive roadmap. That's all well and good, but the other part of the story is they're delivering this stuff so quickly and bringing it to market so quickly. We're just thrilled to see all these great improvements and changes, and obviously it benefits our customers. So we hope you get excited about it as well. So it's been a long time since we've demoed the initial release of Xbar. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me as I just sort of reorientate you with what Xbar is. So we are going to do an all-in demo. It'll just take a few minutes. And then I do want to show you some of the new features in 1.2. And then I'm also going to talk about 1.3, which is also already on the schedule to come out in the next 30 to 60 days. So I'm going to show you 1.2. It is not officially released yet, but it's anticipated to be released in the next week or two. And of course, they'll post this on the Extreme portal. You'll be able to download it by going to Extreme. So I apologize that you can't get it today. Bree and I were just talking that now that Infor owns SalesLogix, they actually have added a new step to their software release process, which includes a QC process that's happening at Infor Corporate in Atlanta. So they have a whole team of people who pound away on all this software to make sure it goes out the door bug-free. That does add a little bit of time to the life cycle, but our hope is that it means when you end up getting it, it truly is highly tested and as trouble-free as it can be. So that's why this delay is happening with Xbar 1.2, which was originally announced to be out several weeks ago, and it's been in the hands of QC. But again, we anticipate that's coming to an end quickly. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. So, well, what is Xbar? It's a plugin that lives inside of Outlook.
Scott, can I interrupt you just a moment? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be seeing a screen yet? Because right now we're not seeing your screen.
I usually ask you that too, and I didn't.
The one time.
So I'm glad you stopped me. How about now?
Yep, now we can.
Thank you. Okay, this is it. We're inside of Outlook. I installed Xbar 1.2. It literally took me about 60 seconds. I double-clicked on it. I fired up my Outlook, and it was there. And so it lives over on the right-hand side as a panel inside of your Outlook interface. And what it does is, as you highlight emails in your inbox or sent or doesn't matter, any folder that you have that contains an email, if you highlight that email, obviously it opens up in your preview panel, but then it also does a request through the SData portal to look up all of the records. So this particular email has four different people. The person who sent it, which in this case is John Abbott, and then it's got Lou and Sophia. And if I have the all selected, it shows me the first three, but then if I click on load more, let's say there was a lot of people CC'd on this email, you can see that it now created a scrollable list of everybody. And then I can say, well, I only want to see who it was from. And so if I click on that, it shows me John, that's who sent it, and who it was to presents me with Lou, and then I have a CC. There was two people, Sophia and I don't know how to pronounce that, but those are the two people that were copied on the email. So if we go back to all, it's going to show me everybody that had anything to do with this email. So those are some quick ways to sort of filter what it's showing me. And then also, this little 3 bars is some additional functionality like a global search, search accounts, search contacts, what's new, and some settings. So the global search is powered by the speed search engine. in Infor CRM, same speed search engine that the regular client uses. And so if I type in a word, this is really a wild card. This is a way to ask Xbar to find a record when you don't necessarily know where the record is or what kind of a record it is. So we have the ability to say, I want you to look at accounts, leads, opportunities, contacts, and tickets for the word Abbott anywhere in the record. And that's what it did. It came back and it said, well, I found 14 records that I found that word Abbott in it. So here's an account record. You can see that there's an A here to tell me it's an account. It found an Abbott worldwide. If you keep scrolling, it found some contact records that have the word Abbott somewhere in their record. Could be their last name, their email address, their city, doesn't matter. It's going to bring those back. So this is a list of all of the Abbott matches that it found in the database. So that's your wildcard search. I don't know where it is. Help me out kind of thing. Now, if you do a account search, you have some other capabilities in here. These are Boolean operators. So you can say it contains, equals, starts with, or ends with. So this gives you the ability to have a range of characters that it's going to search upon, and it's going to also allow you to choose which field in the account table you would like it to search on. And you can see there's a handful of fields here I can search on using that letter or word that I put in there. So all that's pretty cool. Contacts, same thing. Then we have a what's new. And the what's new is going to go into the database and pull back all of the latest activities and history that was created by any user in the database. So this is just a pull of all of the open activities that are in the system. So that's what we're seeing here. And then lastly, there's some online help and some various settings where you can control a few of the different parameters, how the thing behaves. This is how you log in. This is usually done just the one time when you initially set it up. You can choose your language. And then you have some control over like the default email filtering. If you say, well, I don't want who it's to, I just want who it's from, you can tell it how many members to display. Mine was set to 3, but you remember it said I could load more. So if I want to add more than the first 3, when you choose load more, you can say, well, how many more than the first 3, and up to a maximum of 20. So those are just some simple user settings that you might find useful. You'll also notice this little home button here. This will always take you back to where we started, which we call the card view, because these are little business cards that contain some of this information. So let's pick on a different email here. We're going to go to a different email, and it found John again. And some of the other things I can do from here is I can click and open his record in the SalesLogix web or LAN client. And so that way, if I need more or I need to do something else that I can't do in Xbar, with one click, I can pop open a new tab in my default browser. It automatically logs me in, or if you're already logged in, it's just going to open a new tab to the John Abbott contact record in this case. But some of the other things we can do here is we can add new stuff from here. And we can add a new contact, a new lead, a new meeting activities here, and a new ticket, and a new opportunity. We can also send an email. So if you click on the email address, it's a hyperlink, you can see that it pops open a pre-addressed email to that person. Now, these little icons show you little thumbnails of, for example, any activities that are scheduled for John in the system. This would show any current activities. This one is going to show history, if he had any history, if he's got any open opportunities. So these are just little windows into some thumbnail information if you want to see that. Here's his tickets. And then this C shows me that John is a contact in the database. If he was a lead in the database, you'd see an L. And if he was a user in Infor CRM, you would see a U. So this tells me what kind of a record he is in the Infor CRM system. Now down below, we have, again, another way to view activities. And you can load, instead of just the first 3, you can say load more, and it's going to show me all of his activities. So another great way just to quickly glance at everything there is to know. Shows me the first 3 history, and I've also got a little dashboard area here that shows a little simple KPI explaining the potential open opportunities. There's one for 116,000, and he's got an open ticket. Now, Notes is interesting because it not only shows you, let me pick a different one here, show more data. So if we look at, really, I don't know what that means. So that person has, maybe it was this one, sorry. Oh, I thought I had one of them that had some notes in here, but I guess I don't. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so I clicked on Notes, and it's not only showing me Lou's last 3 notes in the database. You'll also notice that this little box is showing me the initials of the user that created the history record. So I don't know who BH is, but that's somebody whose name starts with B, first name, and H, last name. Now, I can also filter this a little bit further and say, well, I only want to see completed, canceled, and sold. But what I like here, too, is I can add a brand new note right from here. So upon typing in there and clicking on this little save icon, it actually added the new note into the database instantly for me. Okay, so let's show a few more functions here. If we click into the Abbott Limited Account record, so I clicked on the blue hyperlink, I can see some thumbnail information, their phone number type, and then some summary information as we scroll down. A little more information about the account record here, and all of these, again, are reading out of the database. If there's any attached files, they're going to show here. Whoops, didn't need to do that. And I can add, you'll see these little 4 square boxes here. So if I'm in contacts and I want to add a new contact or a new note, I can do that from here. So I can add a new contact to Abbott Limited. I can add a new ticket, add a new opportunity, all from this particular view. And I can also edit this record. So if I click on the little pencil, I'm now in the edit view. And this is the same for accounts, contacts, leads, and all the other entities. So you're going to be presented with a lot of the same fields you would see on the web client detail view. And so you can make changes in here, save your changes, and away you go. So a very nice feature. So then we go home, and now I'm going to start to show you some of the new stuff. So this thing is also aware of what we call drag and drop. So for example, let's say that we just got an email from a customer, and they went on to talk about their vacation and how wonderful it was. And then in that email, they also mixed in the fact that they have a problem. And so I can highlight only the text that has something to do with the issue, drag it over to John's record, and then create a new ticket. And you'll notice it copied and pasted just the sentence in the email that had something to do with this issue he's telling me about, so that I could very quickly create a brand new support ticket for him. So a very cool feature. And some of the other things you can do are, let's say that John has a new phone number, for example. In his signature line, you'll notice 312-555 and 7854. But in his signature, I have a new phone number. So what I can do here is just drag that phone number over by highlighting it and choosing Update the Contact. And so this is part of what's new, this is what's new in the 1.2 version, is this little update wizard. So now I don't know what this phone number is because he didn't do a good job of explaining it to me. But I have the ability now to say, well, based on 1212, which one of these phone numbers in it? Well, I happen to know that that's his new mobile number. So I can go ahead and select that and then update just that one little piece of information based on some new information that he gave me. So hopefully that makes sense. That's what the update allows you to do. And so that grabbed the phone number field. But what if he changed companies? I can grab just the company and update that. And so now I can change what he was, his existing company, and Xbar said, oh, well, Phoenix is the name of his new company, so it actually threw it in the name field, but that's how you can make updates to individual pieces of data. Now, this is still beta software, so it's not working exactly the way I anticipated, but I think you get the gist of it. Maybe he changed his title. He got a promotion, so we'll drag that over there and choose Update, and it tries to resolve what's different. And so here we can see, yes, he's still called John, so I'm going to keep John, and he's still, last name is Abbott, but he's not the president anymore. He's the sales executive. So I'm going to keep what Xbar had me drag over and make that his new title. So you'll see that it merged that in. He's now the Midwest sales executive, and I can save it. So that's all part of the new stuff in Xbar 1.2. The one thing I didn't show you that's also part of 1.2 is if you get an email from somebody who's not in your database, and it's going to read the after the @ sign. So in this case, @Abbott Demo. So if Sophia was not in my database and I added her by dragging her over, it's going to automatically link her to the Abbott Limited record because it's going to intelligently look up the domain of the other email contacts in the website for Abbott and assume that she's getting added to the existing Abbott account record. So they just call that intelligent account linking. That's also part of 1.2. Okay, well, Bree, do we have any questions so far?
Yes, Scott, we do have some questions.
Sure.
And a couple of them center around Outlook and what versions of Outlook are supported for 1.2, and also specifically will it work with Office 365 2013.
Well, Office 365, I'll take that one first, is a web-based, browser-based Outlook, and so the answer is no. Xbar only works with the Windows installed version of Outlook. Now, with that said, you can use Outlook 365 as your Exchange engine and use Outlook's Windows client like we're doing today and have Xbar in it. So does it work natively through the browser-based 365? No. Does it work with 365 as your back-end engine for your Windows Outlook client? Yes, it does. I don't know the answer to which versions are compatible with Xbar 1.2 because they haven't released that yet. So as soon as we get the new compatibility guide, we'll go ahead and post that on our website, which will explain which versions of Outlook and which versions of Infor CRM Xbar 1.2 is compatible with. I just don't know the answer yet. They haven't released that material.
All right, our next question is, and I'm pretty sure we don't have an exact date for this either, but when is the expected release of version 1.2?
Yeah, we don't know that yet. It's already slipped several weeks, so I hesitate to throw out another number because I just don't know the answer to that. But it is officially in beta this week. So if all goes well, I would take a guess that you're going to see it within a couple of weeks. End of March, early April, somewhere in there would be my best guess.
All right, and we have a couple questions centered around customization, and just wanting to know if custom fields can be added.
Oh, yes. This is going to be my transition to the rest of the story. So we talked about Xbar 1.2, and there's also going to be Xbar 1.3 coming, and I'm sort of getting ahead of myself here, but I wanted to at least show you, one of my screen is doing this to me. I almost said SalesLogix. Infor CRM 8.2 is due out shortly, and as part of that release, they're changing the story about can you or how do you customize Xbar 1.3 and mobile 3.3. A lot of numbers to try to remember, but what they've done is, and this is really all the information I have, is that you're now going to be able to modify the views, at least the detail view and that card view in Xbar in the application architect. So in 3.3 mobile, the main views, and then the card view in Xbar 1.3 are going to be customizable in the form designer inside of the Infor CRM 8.2 web client. So here what you're seeing is the form designer, which is part of 8.1, which, as you know, if you log in as the administrator into the web client, you click on that gear, and it opens up the form designer so that you can modify the screens, right? So anybody that's seen that. Now, they're going to allow you to do that same modification story with mobile 3.3 and Xbar 1.3. So you can't modify Xbar 1.2, but 1.3, which is coming shortly after 1.2, is going to allow you to modify at least that card view. So that is coming.
Well, I think that's something a lot of customers are going to be excited about.
Yeah, yeah.
Because most people don't have a plain Jane system.
No, they don't. And so this is hugely valuable. You don't need a developer. You don't need to open the application architect. You just go to the form designer in the web client and drag and drop stuff onto the screen or hide it as you want to. A wonderful enhancement that I can't wait to see.
Okay, would you like to, there's a couple more questions here, or would you like to take
Sure.
those at the end? Okay.
I think we're wrapped up. I just want to answer questions.
Okay. Well, then our next question is, when adding a ticket, can you attach or import the relevant email? In other words, build a ticket from an email?
Yes, you can. You can highlight the content of the email, so highlight it all and drag it over, and then click the new ticket button, and it will create the ticket from that copy paste.
Okay. And in your opinion, what's the most important changes in 1.2 from the initial version, and is there anything else you expect to see in 1.3?
Well, 1.3 does bring this customization story, the ability to modify the screen. And the two new features in 1.2 are the wizard for doing updates to a record. Now, you can edit the records today in 1.1, but this allows you to create piecemeal or part updates by highlighting only small bits of information in the body of an email, and then allows you to see the existing versus the what's new and kind of build a better record based on changes that you dragged over there. So that's the big headline story for 1.2 is this updater wizard. They call it the Update Contact Wizard. And the Smart Account Association is a nice feature also.
Yeah, the update feature is quite slick. But
yep.
Scott, we can give people a few more seconds here, but at the moment we don't have any more questions.
Okay, well, sounds good. I appreciate everybody's time today. And like I said, we are very actively blogging about all this new stuff when we learn about it and when it becomes available. And we look forward to hopefully demoing some of these new releases in the coming months as well. And there's lots more exciting stuff coming down the pipeline too that I didn't talk about today. So thank you again for attending, everyone, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Scott. Bye.